Hi, Deb Gemmell here from Debgemmellmods, and today is our day to say goodbye for the summer of 2025 because we're packing up today and on our way home tomorrow. And it's been a really productive summer here. I'll show you the work we did later, but yeah, I also did quite a bit of knitting. So I'll go through that first, but what I'm wearing is a top-down raglan, which I designed in 2000 when for Cabin Fever that Linda and I, that it was our business for almost 25 years. So this is in Briggs & Little Heritage. So it's 25 years old today. And I'll show you my camp sweater there. So here are the patches that I put in. These are, I think, zipper incidents. Yes. And I see that I have another little hole, and the cuffs are really chewed up, and I've already fixed them, as you can see, once. And this one, oh, this one has a hole. So being the camp sweater, I wear it in the spring, and now I'm wearing it now because I think it's 14 degrees right now, and when we get up it's about 12 degrees Celsius, which is our signal, since we have no heat, that it's time to be heading home, where it will be much warmer, being Southern Ontario that I'm heading to. So anyway, so this is our last day, which is a little sad every year. But I did get quite a bit of knitting done. So this is my V with the any gauge V pullover. So I think that's the mark for where I was last time. So that's like 2-3 weeks ago. Anyway, I got quite a bit done. I think I'm almost at the bottom. But I will do a proper try on when I get home. And I did some shaping on the back. So I did the shaping starting above my waist, increase on either side of the back first, because I did do more increases on the front. There, right? Can you see them? They're right there. There's a series, I think there's six stitches extra on the front, which is in the pattern, and that's to give me a bit more bust room on the front. So I started the hip increases on the back only. Where am I? Where's the back? There we are. Let's get to the back. On the back first, and then on the back and the front, which I think you can see on either side of the pattern. Anyway, so I think I'm almost there. I think I got an inch or two for the length for me, which isn't that long. It's usually about 22 inches, since I'm a rather short person. So there we are. So that one goes away, and I will pull it out when I get home and see exactly where I am. My other project, look at this. I got a sleeve done. One sleeve. You know what it shows me? I don't have TV here. I do have very little internet service. So you know the little cone that shows you your internet? I have the very bottom dot here, and it just shows me that for knitting sleeves, I need to go home and watch a lot of television to get this done. But I have one sleeve done, and then I have the other one, and because it was knitting sleeves is boring. So I was knitting them 2 at a time, which you saw last time, and then I switched to double points just to change it up for a bit, and now I'm ready to do my ribbing. And then I will start this one tomorrow on my way home. It takes us about 8.5 hours to get home, so that's a good bit in the car, and then on the ferry, and then on the car again. So I could get quite a bit further down on my sleeves, which I will be very happy, because that'll be 2 more sleeves done. And then I have the green sleeves, and then, yes, sleeves, sleeves, sleeves. So, because I was getting a little bored of sleeves, I started this shawl, a wrap. So I showed a picture in my blog posts, which I do usually, mostly every week. So here it is. It's going to be called the reversible ribbon. So you cast on here, you do increases, and then you change color. And it's the color that's going to do it's going to go like this. The color green is going to do that throughout the wrap. And then to make it reversible, you change the color by knitting yarn over, knit 2 together eyelets. If you change the color on this row, it's reversible. Like, isn't that amazing? I think that's amazing. And that was a fluke that I discovered on another project. So I work an eyelet row to change the colors, and then I'm still increasing. So from here to the bottom of the green is triangle 1. And I think I measured 13 inches from here to here, because this is where you measure vertically to the bottom of the green there. 13 inches. So I think when it's blocked, it might grow an inch. I would like it at least 14 inches, but anyway, that's fine. And then you start the second triangle down here. So you do have to cut everything, but anyway, not the best, but whatever. So then you start the second triangle, and I'm almost done. I'm done the second triangle in blue, and what I'm doing is counting the ridges here, which I have 35, and then counting down from the end 35 stitches. And then my green stripe will go down here. Continue down. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a departure. That's the easiest way to do it, right? So 35 ridges, 35 stitches. Except I think what I'm going to do is do 30 stitches, and then 25, and then 20. Anyway, just to vary the green stripes. Anyway, that's my idea. I'll put that in as a modification, but anyway, so there's triangle 1 and the beginning of triangle 2. So this is how wide it's going to be. It's going to go this way, this deep. Yeah. So that's nice, easy podcast watching knitting for me to do. And I have 2 skeins of the blue and a whole bunch of 50-gram balls of the green. They're both in Shell Ridge Yarns 80/20. So nice and elasticy, like stretchy, and feels really nice. So it'll be really nice. So the green, as you can see, is going to go up here, and then this is going to be green down here, and then it'll keep going. So you're going to see a bit of this, and I'm going to publish it as I think I'll just do it. Well, it'll be short because there's not a lot more to it than this, and then you just keep going. So that's that project. And then I went to the Algoma Fiber Day in Debrat, Northern Ontario. It's close to the Sioux, Ontario. And I bought rovings, Briggs & Little Country Rovings. There it is, which is 5 strands of singles. held together. Whoops, there it is. 2, 4, 2, 4, 5, like that. Comes out like that. Like that. And I've been wanting to try unspun yarn for a while. Like, I don't know, I'm just curious. So I bought 2 cakes of this. So the cakes are 227 grams each. So that's 450 grams and 141 meters. 5 strands. Five strands are 141 meters. So what I did was I split it into 2. So I had 3 bowls. I'll put some photos in my blog because I took straight photos. So it had three bowls and the cake, which is round like this. And I pulled it out of the middle, and then I put 2 strands in this bowl and 1 strand in the middle bowl and 2 strands in the far bowl. And then what they do is it twists around. So then you take the cake, put it on its edge and move it like a tire to untwist it, and then pull out some more and keep going. And it didn't take all that long. The reason for doing this was that I wanted to dye it. The woman that was at the Algoma Fiber Day only had white, natural, and gray. And I wanted to dye it just for fun. So, like, look at this. It's really, really kind of fragile. So we started out, this is my sister Lynn, who's Shellridge Yarns. That's her. She does the dyeing. She's my camp neighbor. We had to take it from the cake and skein it in order to dye it. And we tried putting it on a skeiner, which is the same as a Swift. Like, it would be like putting it on a Swift, not off of the Swift, which is the normal way to do things. So we're putting it on what amounts to a Swift, so we would get a skein out of the cake so that we could dye it, but it kept breaking. So what we ended up doing was stabilizing the Swift and hand winding it onto the Swift so that we didn't break it. So it's kind of fragile, and you think, oh my God, like, when I knit it, what's going to happen? Will it stay together? But what we found out is we did dye it, and I did take some photos, so I'll put those in my blog post. But this is how it ends up when you dye it. So that's 2 strands. Can you see? That's 2 strands. But oh my God, it's so much stronger because it's been simmered. Because when you dye it, so we put it in a cold water bath, and then we added the dye, and then we simmered it, and then you let it cool to room temperature, wash it, and this is what we got. This is what we have. So it's so much stronger. It's so much stronger. So now I have no problem. So we went from there to there. I have no problem knitting this. And I got a ton. I have 11 of these, I think. 11 of these. So it's ever so slightly felted, which is pretty interesting. Yeah. So I have a whole bunch. I have a whole bunch of it. So, very excited to give this a shot. That's my new project. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I sort of really like the idea of starting with an I-cord again. And I might try that, going from an I-cord, knitting the I-cord first, and picking up off of the I-cord, and then knitting from there with a raglan this time. Anyway, it might take me some figuring out to do that, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, so besides knitting, we're at camp, and this building, this little building which we stay in, like it's our main building, is built out of wafer board, which my dad was really in favor of building with wafer board. But it doesn't stand up over time, so it's starting to leak because wafer board is just chipped board. Anyway, and the seams were starting to separate, and we were getting leaks around the windows and the doors. So this year, a big job was to resurface the front with plywood, and then put up these battens to make it look like board and batten. And so this is the side that gets all the lake wind coming in, and the weather hits this. This is the front of the building. Next year I'll have to do the back, and eventually we'll get there. But since we put the plywood up, we have been watertight and not leaks. So it was a project. Took us quite a while. Had to cut the plywood around the windows and around the door, and a bit of a job. So I'll show you I'll show you what we did. There we are. So let me hook this up again. And then I wanted to get rid of the old aluminum door we had here, screen door, because it wasn't stable anymore, and it was scraping along it was falling a bit, so scraping along the bottom of the deck. So what happens here, because I'm in a bit of a compound with my relatives, I was saying, yeah, I have to replace this screen door, and I'll go have a look at the Home Hardware and see what they have. And then, you don't do it for a couple days. And then a couple days later, someone comes over and says, oh, well, my cousin, he has a spare screen door sitting somewhere, because nobody here gets rid of stuff. So if you build something and you have leftovers, you hang on to them. So I went over to my cousin's place, picked up this screen door, which is slightly bigger than the screen door I had here. So I had to spend several days trying to figure out how to work that out. But now we have a screen door, which is really nice. And freebie. And he was happy to get rid of something that was sitting around. So that's how we do things, is use what's sitting around. I have a bit of this 1x3s that I did the battens out. I had some left over, so I'm going to hang on to them, and I'm going to put them around as railings around my deck rail next year, because today is our last day. So we're packing up. It's blowing here, which means it's bug free, which is lovely. But we've been kayaking about 5 days out of 7, but it has to be fairly calm, and today it's not. It's really blowing, which means the waves are a fair size out there, so not a kayaking day. But anyway, so I am sort of looking forward to going home. It's time. We have been here 9.5 weeks, which has been great. And now I can look forward to next summer. So I will catch up with you when I get home, and I will have a better idea of where I am on my various projects. And I am going to sit in the evening watching TV, knitting my sleeves, which gives me an opportunity to start a couple new things when I'm at home, when I knit in the morning. So I'm looking forward to that. So I hope you have a lovely rest of the summer, and I am heading home to Southern Ontario, and we'll see how we do there. So bye-bye.